The Niners just finished up day 3 of their training camp. Tomorrow is a day off, so this is a good opportunity for us to examine some players that frankly have stood out so far throughout training camp. And the one that I really want to focus on is the player that I think's been best so far, and that's wide receiver Brandon Aiyuk. Aiyuk is going into a season where he's aiming to prove that last season of 1,000 yards receiving wasn't just a fluke, but that's who he is as a wide receiver. This is to get a massive lucrative contract, whether it be with the Niners or another team. It doesn't matter. He really needs to prove his worth this season. And going into this offseason, it's clear that Brandon Aiyuk has put in all the work you would require from him. He's in fantastic shape, and really no one can guard him. He's unguardable in the secondary that's been much improved, in my opinion, from Steve Wilks already. Let's start with day 1. On day 1, he beat the Isaiah Oliver, the Niners' new nickel cornerback, on a 15-yard catch. He also beat their starting cornerback, Lenore, on a contested catch. Moving on to day 2, we saw Brandon Aiyuk be a safety blanket for basically any quarterback throwing his ways. He would make contested catches, and even if the ball wasn't placed perfectly, he was coming down with it. And that's what I love about Brandon Aiyuk and watching him on the field. If it's not perfect, it's not a big deal because he has such lengthy arms and great hands. He's mostly going to come down with them. And in today's practice, we see Brandon Aiyuk continue to cook. He catches a pass from Brock Purdy on a nice play action crosser. Purdy also hit him again later, it looked like, and Aiyuk is great after the catch. He makes people miss, and I can't wait to watch him cook this entire year. Like I said, I think Aiyuk has the potential to be a Pro Bowl talent and a repeated Pro Bowl talent. Throughout his career, he has demonstrated an ability to improve from year 1 to year 2 and to year 3. For this year, I think he's one of the best wide receivers across the entire NFL, and I would pick him over basically anyone. I think the Niners should bring Brandon Aiyuk back on a massive contract, and this offseason is proving this. I won't be surprised if Brandon Aiyuk turns out to be the weapon of choice for San Francisco's offense, which sounds so weird because he is such a traditional wide receiver, but with the resurrection of also Brock Purdy coming on the field and improving from day 1 to day 2, I personally wouldn't be surprised, and I love watching Aiyuk cook. Speaking of players that I've noticed kind of cooking throughout this training camp and maybe aren't getting mentioned enough is wide receiver Danny Gray. He's kind of an underrated player in my opinion, but I've noticed him catching out routes, working on his feet. He also looks in much better shape than his rookie year, which is what you often see from year 1 to year 2. And if Kyle Shanahan's able to rotate in Danny Gray to maybe the slot 1 or 2 times a game and get just him open once, it's game over with his 4.3 speed. Finally, I don't think today's video can be wrapped up without me mentioning the crazy catch Jauan Jennings had today. It was honestly spectacular. It reminds me much of like a George Kittle type catch. He caught it with one hand and then continued to run after it. I mean, in my opinion, if I saw that in the game, I think Jauan Jennings would have got a touchdown on that play. And it was a pretty good pass from Sam Darnold, if I give him all of his respect too. So since most of this video focused on Brandon Aiyuk, and he is my favorite 49er, I want to hear who your guys' favorite 49er or maybe your potential breakout candidate this year is. Is it Deebo Samuel? I mean, he's been putting in a ton of work this offseason and looks like his body's in the best shape it's been in for a while, and he's even said he feels as good as he did back in 2019 when he had that breakout year. Ultimately, I just would like to hear your thoughts on your favorite breakout offensive weapon. And it would also mean a ton to me if you liked and subscribed. It's a great way to show support to my channel. And as always, I hope you guys have a good rest of your day and weekend.